All right, we're back with Gym Challenge Sunday here at Pico Rivera, California. We're just about to get into the grand finals here. We have, well, I can see over here. I know it's
Wow.
Gavin Michaels versus Grant Weldon. I had to look up and see who it was from here. But yeah, it's gonna be quite with how well Grant played in the last set. He's no slouch. And Gavin, he's also a very, very skilled and seasoned player. So
Gavin is actually the defending champion from the last Gym Challenge.
yeah, he was, right. So I mean, he's he's trying to get his two best placings for the season. 30 CP.
No, he's done better.
No, I mean,
at least here he's trying to get back-to-back championships.
yeah, and with how the rules work, right? I mean, it only counts your two best placings from premier challenges, right? So since he did get first in the last one, if he gets first now, that's the max 60 CP he's gonna get, right? Based on the rules, right? So we'll see if he gets his CP. He's in the race for that stipend.
And then, yeah, we're going to see from, again, Grant Weldon once again on the screen. On his perspective, we have Iron Bundle, Tyranitar, Talonflame, Great Tusk, Goldango, and Glamora. And for Gavin, it's a familiar sight now in this metagame. Azumarill, Iron Hands, Pelipper, Fluttermate, Goldango, and Amoonguss.
Yeah, and we both seen these teams before on stream here, right? So, I mean, they really don't need too much extra introduction, right? We both know they're very strong, and we'll see how it goes, right? And actually, with the Tyranitar on Grant's side, could be interesting in overriding the rain and whatnot, don't you think?
Yeah, it is. That Sandstorm is actually going to come pretty much in handy. Two-thirds of his team is actually immune to sand. No, actually, almost all his team's immune to sand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have the Goldango. It's a steel type. Glamora being a rock type, and I mean. You could technically call this a sand team, but we are getting
no sand.
No sand. I mean, we'll see if he really needs it or not, right? But I mean, the Talonflame is going to really set the pace for this match, right? Just straight up, he could go for Tailwind, make it rain here, or he could even go for like Nasty Plot or Thunderbolt, right? Because the Thunderbolt does actually do very well into this rain team here.
And here we go, the first game of Grand Finals. It's a Azumarill and a Iron Hands for Gavin and Talonflame Goldango for Grant. So two very different leads, but it could go either way because this is not Cobra Cloak on the Talonflame.
Yeah, and he could actually consider just going for Terra Ghost here if he thinks it's worth it, right? Because it's kind of risky. This fake out could just go into the Talonflame, and he also just double up with Liquidation, right? So it's a little risky for this Talonflame here, but this Goldango though is quite free to do what it wants, and he actually does consider the Terra Ghost Will-O-Wisp.
What? Wait a minute, this Goldango does not have a ghost move. That is interesting call. It's Pyrocene Thunderbolt over Shadow Ball.
Now he clicks the Nasty Plot too. He's really thinking his Goldango's not gonna go down here, so he's just gonna get a really big advantage in terms of pressure and status onto this Azumarill here. So this if this turn goes well for him, he could be in a really big lead here.
It's only if fake out comes out the first turn. It does not.
Oh, and Gavin predicting that. Let's see what he goes after here.
The burn does go into the Azumarill, so its power will be weakened, even though it does have the huge power ability and a life orb. Goldango going for the Nasty Plot. What did Gavin's Iron Hands go for? It has a good amount of options to go for. It goes for the Wild Charge onto the Goldango. It does half health.
And this
looks like a bit of recoil damage, and the Azumarill went for the liquidation in the same slot.
Wow, and Goldango survives. What a survival here. And crucially, the Talonflame's actually full health here, right? And it can go for the Tailwind before the Aqua Jet.
Yeah, but the Aqua Jet can actually take out the Goldango from this range.
That's true, but I mean, a Protect can be.
Oh yeah, protect leftovers. Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Yeah. So it all depends, right? I mean, he can for sure get the Tailwind off here. Does depend on what he goes with for the Goldango here, and I'm sure the Aqua Jet is very threatening here. But with the burn on the Azumarill, the Goldango can actually survive with how bulky it is.
See if it does, though. Here comes the Protect on Goldango. Going to try to survive another attack from the Leftovers recovery. And was Aqua Jet going into this? Now, do we see Volt switch into Talonflame from this Iron Hands before this Talonflame can do anything? Lilith does connect on the Iron Hands, crippling both physical attackers early.
I know, and this is actually very huge, right? I mean, that protect was about a very safe play, right? Maybe didn't want to risk a roll or something, but that Volt Switch does go into the Talonflame, but you know, Talonflame sent him a little parting shot with that Will-O-Wisp. You know, you gotta get burned for that Volt Switch, boy.
Yeah, that's sadly the way that goes. Now, it does get the reset on the fake out, but you're running out of fake out targets.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just, you know, just having two physical attackers burned, it's quite it's a little rough here, right? So there's a couple of things Grant could do here, right? He could definitely
wait a minute.
He gets the leftovers recovery.
Does this rain actually put the Aqua Jet still in range?
Probably, actually, you know, it might, you know, and it could be a roll, could not be, but we would have to see here. And maybe he doesn't actually want this Goldengo to be in or not. You know, this Goldengo really low here, so we will have to see if he believes this Goldengo can tank this Aqua Jet here, right, and just go for a make it rain and do so much damage.
That's his only hope right now. But let me look at this cheat sheet again. Oh yeah, this Pelipper does have wide guard.
Oh yeah, and Pelipper could also go for this wide guard, as whether he wants to, you know, launch that Thunderbolt or not. He looks like he's trying to click the make it rain here. Let's see what happens.
Trostalization coming in. This might be a Zumaro. I think this might be a Zumaro going for the swing under this Goldengo with that Aqua Jet, and it is.
Yeah, it is in his Terra Water, right? So, you know, maybe maybe Gavin also thinking it might not actually KO, so this Terra Water will provide that extra oomph, you know, to possibly get this KO. And let's see if it does.
Aqua Jet, let's see if it actually did go to that side. It does. This should be a knockout, and it is.
It is, and that was very good, very consistent play by Gavin there, right? Because, you know, you could have probably missed that KO with like a normal Aqua Jet, right? So it's very important to make sure you get that KO, especially after that nasty flop being so scary.
Taunt goes into the Pelipper, but Hydro Pump comes out. It's not something like that tailwind that sometimes are seen, and that Hydro Pump easily gets the one-hit knockout. Gavin took a swing of the momentum, and now it's in his favor.
Oh yeah, now Gavin's in an insane position right now, right? The Goldengo was putting up like a lot of pressure there, right? But it wasn't actually able to go for the go for any of the make it rain or anything, because it was actually chunked too low from the earlier double up. So even though the Azumarill is burned, I mean, it's still there and kicking. It's still doing a lot of damage with this Terra Water. Yeah,
and now we see the Iron Bundle coming into play here. Booster Energy going to multiply that speed stat by 1.5, giving it a Choice Scarf boost without the need of a Choice Scarf. Freeze Dry looking pretty good here, but you kind of wish you had Hydro Pump.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we wish I had Hydro Pump, right? But it is going to be 4 times super effective into this Pelipper here, and this Headlong Rush can outspeed the Azumarill and do a lot of damage, right? Great Tusk can just probably take a good amount of damage from the Aqua Jet here too, but I mean, it doesn't seem like Gavin has any ground immunities left, right? So the Headlong Rush is actually quite safe into here if he wants to go for it.
Considering his options, looks like he's hovering Rock Slide as his option to maybe take out the Pelipper, and it is going to be the Rock Slide. Freeze Dry comes out. There is no wide guard. This will rock down the stash.
Yeah, and maybe that's why he actually did go for the Rock Slide there, right? In order to just make sure the Pelipper goes down here. Great Tusk going first. And Azumarill taking a pretty good chunk. Crit on the Pelipper. I don't know if that mattered, but, you know, a crit's a crit. Funny thing. So
Liquidation coming out. It is Liquidation. There is no defense drops on this Great Tusk, but this is Terra Water. A lot of boost. Oh my god!
It survives with the 1 HP, but that crucially is in Aqua Jet range. So he can just go for the Aqua Jet onto this Great Tusk that can protect, frankly, you know? So
or it's being threatened by his Iron Hands.
Oh yeah, and it could just be faked out by Iron Hands here too, right? So it all depends if this bundle could get anything done here.
This is going to be very tricky because that Azumarill is proving that even with the burn, it's doing a lot of damage. And the Scarf only allows you to use the Rock Slide. It's like Professor Oak telling you not to use your back indoors.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, right? And this Aqua Jet's going to pick up the Great Tusk here in the rain. And actually, we crucially saw the Iron Bundle going for Encore here.
Okay, Azumarill will lose a bit more HP here. It goes for the Encore. Oh, he went for a fake out read and it just did not happen.
Unfortunate there.
Drain Punch instead is the choice. Not doing half health, but this should be easy cleanup.
Yeah, it's probably easy cleanup for Gavin here, right? I mean, Although you know, maybe the burn from the Azumarill will take it out. No, not even close, right? I mean, a little bit of HP left there, but it looks like that may be a wrap for Grant here. You know, he actually played those turn ones pretty well, you know, spreading the burns and whatnot, right? Just unfortunately, you know, the Goldengo went down without being able to get any value off of its nasty plot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate here, and I think I know what Grant's doing here by going for that protect. You know, I think he wants the burn knockout Azumarill to see what he has in the back.
And not only that, he's actually stalling out the rain here too, so maybe Azumarill doesn't have that much power behind it too. And does it knock out? No, maybe
Maybe
you know,
you can't even freeze the Iron Hands if you wanted. You can't.
Yeah, so it's a little rough here. You know, maybe he goes for the freeze dry here. Maybe he thinks he can maybe survive double up in here.
No Aqua Jet. We are going to see Gavin's last Pokemon unless his Wild Charge Drain Punch knocks out the Iron Bundle.
Yeah, and most likely we're going to see a Wild Charge here, right? Because, you know, it's pretty much the end of the game. Can't really do anything here. It's a safer play here. And he goes for the Wild Charge. Drain Punch earlier was probably just because it was a more safer play to make, just in case something went wrong, right? So, yeah, I mean, Gavin Michaels takes game one. Grant putting up a really good fight, though.
Yeah, Grant showing he can compete, but once again, I think we all underestimated the power of Azumarill. I'll be honest, I'm not liking the fact that Azumarill is taking Palafin's spotlight.
I always personally have been an advocate for Azumarill. I think it's similar to Palafin in a way where it does have a lot of power, but it also just you don't need the switch out, you know, to activate it.
Yeah, that's like the big advantage from these two Pokemon. And now we're going back into the team preview here. I don't know if, well, clearly not being able to disrupt the rain mattered against the Goldango.
Yeah, so yeah, that didn't really matter too much, right? So, you know, Grant definitely actually just I think he did make the right call for not bringing Tyranitar, right? And also, you know, Tyranitar staring down a Iron Hands, Azumarill, Fluttermane, and a Goldango is not the best for it, right? It's weak to all of those. So, you know, maybe it's not worth it to actually bring it to, like, just set up, like, you know, prevent the rain and whatnot. So, you know, Grant definitely going with a very good lead game one. And it looks like he's going to try to switch it up here, maybe with leading with the Iron Bundle, actually.
Yeah, I've seen it. You know, I had to look back on the Gavin successes rate, and a lot of it's rain related. Like, all of his good results have come from rain.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing rain like pretty much all year, right? So, I mean, he's very comfortable on the archetype, and, you know, he's also just a very good player. So, I mean, he's just sticking to comfort and taking names with it. Oh, and he actually
wow.
Maybe he is bringing the Tyranitar.
Yeah, he is.
Wow, that's very interesting. You know, like I said, it is weak to a lot of things on Gavin's team, but, you know, with maybe a timely Terra can, you know, bring him back.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to know here from each of these players. So we're going to go into game number 2 here. Gavin needs one more game to secure his back-to-back victories with his Azumarill and the Iron Hands. While for Grant, we're going to see a Speed Booster Iron Bundle and a Glimora on his side, so he's trying to switch things up.
Yeah, so, I mean, this could be a good switch-up, actually, because the Glimora indeed is Terra Grass, so they can't really go for insanely super effective attacks into it if it Terra Grasses, right? And the Sludge Bomb's actually putting a lot of pressure onto the Azumarill as well, so we'd have to see what Gavin decides to do against this.
Ooh!
Yeah, and you know, here comes the Terra Grass. I mean, it's I would say it is pretty obvious because you don't want to be taking liquidations and fighting moves from the Iron Hands, right? So, a Terra.
Oh, we see the Azumarill switch out. What could this be if we actually get to see the other screen? For no use of production, as we do see the Amoonguss come into play for Gavin. We do see the Terrestrialization go for the Glimora. Here we go into the grass typing. Will be resistant now to that Drain Punch and also to that Wild Charge.
Yeah, so I mean, it is it is a good Terrestrialization on Glimora here. It doubles up into the Azumarill slot. Let's see how much the slot does and the freeze.
No, there's no Lumberry. You wish this was a Lumberry now, but this is actually a Citrus Berry, going to heal 25% of his HP. Now, Amoonguss now has a 20% chance to unthaw, but 20% chance is a lot. Sludge Bomb almost gets a knockout onto the Amoonguss.
And that freeze actually proving to matter a lot, right? Because, you know, if that Sludge Bomb... really good call by Gavin there. But, I mean, like I was saying, I mean, if that Sludge Bomb did KO, then maybe it didn't matter that the freeze happened. But, you know, Gavin actually just straight up wild charging into the Iron Bundle slot. You know, he's saying, like, I don't mind if this Amoonguss goes down.
You see Great Tusk now coming in retaliation. This Iron Hands is still the problem now, even though Amoonguss is no longer the concern here.
Yeah, so Amoonguss has a chance to thaw, but a very low one, right? But I mean, he can technically just like freely double target this Iron Hands here, and whatever switches in might take a lot of damage, or the Iron Hands itself will take a lot of damage.
But you have to be wary of that Pelipper. That thing is a flying type. It's probably an obvious switch in.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, right? But I mean,
do you even make that read in the first place?
Yeah, that is true, right? I mean, and if Pelipper switches in, you know, you still have the pressure from the Gomora, right?
No switch out. We do see Terastallization though from Gavin. This might be Iron Hands, but if this is Terra Grass, it is Terra Grass. That's dangerous.
That's interesting, right? I mean, it depends on what this. I didn't quite catch what that Gomora.
Yeah, I think it went for Sludge Bomb.
Yeah, and that's actually very good if it did go for Sludge Bomb, right? Because it is.
Ooh, he tried to Rage Powder. Wait, did he try to Rage Powder or did he go for a Protect?
Probably one of them. You know, they're both high priority moves. We will never know, right? But, you know, that read into the Iron Hands here, you know, he will go for the Sludge Bomb. And does it live? It does not live. Wow.
That's Life Orb being greater than Assault Vest right there. Terastallization gone from Gavin, so no longer can he power up that Azumarill.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? I mean, and also it depends on what he has in the back, right? I mean, he does have the Azumarill Pelipper in the back, right?
Yeah, there's a Pelipper. I think even if he switched out, I think Sludge Bomb would have brought it to Sash.
Oh no, yeah, for sure, right? I mean, we definitely see that. And actually, you know, now that Headlong Rush is locked into by Great Tusk, it will be immune, but this Gomora can still freely go for these Sludge Bombs. And actually, well, maybe not actually, because I mean, the Hurricane is a big threat here. So we'll have to see. But maybe it might not be a threat because he is switching in
the
Tyranitar that we were talking about earlier.
Now the rain is gone. Hurricane is going to go back down to his normal accuracy of 70.
Yeah, so I mean, it all depends. And he decides to go to the Headlong Rush onto the Amoonguss here. And, you know, it might be worth, right, just because, I mean, he's getting one Pokemon out of the way that could potentially thaw out. And, you know...
No more rain.
And no more rain, yeah, exactly.
Hurricane, it does miss because of the rain no longer being in play.
And interestingly, it did actually go into the Tyranitar, so Tyranitar probably would not have taken that much damage to begin with. But I mean, this is a very good position for Grant. That freeze paying dividends for him right there. Now you just freely go for the most likely the fastest Headlong Rush here, right? And I mean, Azumarill could obviously go for the Aqua Jet here and maybe take it out.
Liquidation is also an option, as well as Play Rough. They're both super effective.
They are both super effective, right? But I mean, the issue with those is, you know, the Great Tusk will go first. We don't know if Aqua Jet will take out the Great Tusk while it's at -2 defense. We'd have to see, right? I mean, and honestly, Headlong Rush might not even take out the Azumarill. So we just want to, you know, we haven't really seen those calcs come into play earlier on in the match, so we don't actually know what would happen here.
It all depends on this. Gavin is in the brink of losing here. Wygar going to go ahead and walk into potential Rock Slides coming in.
Oh, yeah, anything coming from the Tyranitar, but we know that this is locked in the Headlong Rush. Let's see how much it does. It does not KO it, so maybe this Liquidation can take out the Great Tusk if he did end up going into it.
There is the Rock Slide, easily read by that Wygar from Gavin, so... Keep in mind, this Pelipper cannot go for, now has a 33% chance to go for Protect and succeed. What did the Azumarill do here? Went for the Liquidation into the Tyranitar. It wins a one-hit knockout!
Oh my god, this, you know, Tyranitar, it is quite a bulky Pokemon, but you know, no match for the Azumarill over here. But, crucially, that also does mean the, Great Tusk over here is actually,
it's actually in trouble.
And not only is it in trouble, but also, I mean, it's in trouble for Gavin as well, right? Because, I mean, if it goes into it can't take another headlong rush, right? So you know, Gavin would have to see.
But will it take an Aqua Jet? At -3.
Yeah, it might not take the Aqua Jet, right? We need to see about.
We're gonna find out. Here goes. It's a knockout.
And it's a knockout. Wow, what a. I mean, it was at -3.
This is coming down to Hurricane. How is this coming down to Hurricane? Glenmora is going first. It actually will not matter going for Hurricane. Now it comes down to play rough.
Wow, yeah, now it comes down to play rough. I mean, okay. I don't think the.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Does the Azumarill actually outspeed the Glenmora? If it does, then it's going to game 3.
I mean, I think the we have seen the Glamora actually outspeed the Azumarill. It's probably a max speed Glamora here, so I mean.
Oh, another turn of sand actually wins the game.
And honestly, he could probably just go for Spiky Shield and win the game here.
Yeah.
Not risking any crits or anything, right? Just let the sand chip away here.
Or let the Spiky Shield take it out for you.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it is an offensive.
And that is what happens.
Yeah, that is what happens. You know, Grant, being able to come back into game 2, you know, making this a really close set here, you know, he made some really smart plays, you know. The freeze definitely helped, but I mean, I think he also just positioned his board to, you know, actually make sure he won the game, right? I mean, Gavin, it looked like Gavin could have even came back at from that at any point, even with that freeze.
This is coming down to the wire. Gavin Michaels still looking for that back-to-back Gym Challenge Sunday Championship. Earn his full 6 CCP from Premier Challenges. Yep. Grant's looking to probably win his first tournament if my memory recalls.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I stated earlier, I don't know too much about Grant, but I mean, judging from this, he's a very good player, so I'm sure he's gonna like the CP for sure.
Once again, the teams from each side, it's Iron Bundle, Tyranitar, Talonflame, Great Tusk, Goldango, and Glamora for Grant Weldon, and for Gavin Michaels, it is Azumarill, Iron Hands, Pelipper, Buttermane, Goldango, and Amoonguss.
Yeah, so I mean, we know these teams really well, so this is gonna be great here. I mean,
that Tyranitar has been paid a lot of dividends, probably because the Iron Hand's taken out of the equation.
Yeah, so yeah, it's one of his big. It did show that it is in fact very weak to that Azumarill as well. Does not.
What is this lead idea from Grant?
Oh yeah, that's a very interesting lead idea, right? I mean,
I don't know if he'll stick to it, but it sounds interesting if he does lead that, because I think Gavin's like Azumarill Iron Hands both games.
Yeah, and I mean, these two on the lead does actually put a lot of pressure onto those two, right? But I mean, I think he's gonna go with the same Iron Bundle Glamora lead here, right? Yeah, that got him the game 2 victory. So you know, I mean, it's gonna be a really interesting match here, and I think he figured out that, you know, these 4 are my best chance. You know, I need to make sure the weather's down, because even when burned, that Azumarill does so much.
Yeah, that Palp is definitely living under the Pika Blue's shadow.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you know, both of them are really great Pokemon. So I mean,
do we see the same 3 for Gavin game 3 in a row? No, not Iron Hands this time. It's Goldango instead of Iron Hands.
Yeah, so I mean, this is very interesting, right? Because I mean, he could actually potentially, you know, make sure the Glamora is locked into a certain move, right? With the Choice Scarf trick, right? So he could make sure he could trick the Glamora after the Glamora goes for like a certain attack, right? And then Glamora will be locked into will have to lock into a move, right? Which actually lets Gavin play around it a little better, right? And also, I mean, you know, Goldango also just puts on a lot of pressure for both of these Pokemon, right? Because I mean, Glamora is a rock type, right? And Iron Bundle does take neutral damage, it does not have the greatest special defense stat.
No, it does not. It's pretty much the Kartana of its generation, if you think about it.
Yeah, in a way, right? I mean, I guess more comparable to Regieleki. It depends on how you look at it, right? But I mean,
we do see the Terrasolution from the Goldango. It's going to be the Terra Steel. Maybe it's not Trick that's coming out. It's probably going to be that Make It Rain.
Yeah, and let's see what Grant went for here, you know? I mean, did he go for the Terra Grass?
No,
he goes for the Spiky Shield. It's very interesting.
This Iron Bundle is very susceptible to attacks here. Here's the Icy Wind, gonna put ahead and put a dent to Azumarill and Goldango's speed, but I think this might be sacrificial from this Iron Bundle.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just getting the speed down, but yeah, he's saying like taking one for the team, you know what I mean, right? So Yeah, no, this Mega Ring is going to do so much here. And yep, as expected, Iron Bundle does go down, but it does take that -1 drop in its special attack, so it will be doing less later on in this game unless he decides.
And the Zoomer is going to take a bit more chip damage thanks to that play rough hitting that spiky shield.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's kind of forced to, honestly, you know, because I mean, he did go for the double attack. So now comes in the Great Tusk, though. It's actually very interesting here because he can go for an Earthquake if he wanted to, but I think it's
I don't think you can.
I don't think you. Yeah, you might not be able to just because the Pelipper potentially switching in. Right?
And also, you're threatening the one hit knock at your own Glamora.
Yeah, that's also one thing, right? Too, right? I mean, I guess if that tears into grass, it can take like one, but I mean, this is a little interesting spot for Grant here because I mean, he's down one Pokemon, and we know this Goldengo is while it is slowed down. Oh yeah, and it does go for the Terra Grass here.
Are we going to see it though? Or are we going to see something like that heck on us? He's considering Rock Slide for that Pelipper. Is he going to click? He is.
Yeah, does he? Oh, he does predict the switch. Is it the Pelipper coming in? It is. So he will be faster than this Azumarill over here.
Yeah, and now that Terrestrialization of Grass will avoid the Liquidation or Aqua Jet super effective damage.
Yeah, so I mean, this is this could be a really huge turn for Grant here.
This depends on what this Glamora actually went for. I think we started going for a Sludge Bomb.
I think it went for the Sludge Bomb. If he went for the Sludge Bomb, that's
huge.
But that's very smart by Gavin, right? He gets the Pelipper in safely, and well, not relatively safely, right? Because it's gonna probably take this Rock Slide.
Yeah, it will get the connection. It's going to do around 55% of its health. Sludge Bomb does go into the Azumarill, though.
Yeah, so that was a it was actually a pretty good turn for Grant here, right? I mean, he didn't get like insane damage onto Azumarill, but I mean, he got the chip he needs onto Pelipper, and I mean, we can see where he goes from here, but Pelipper will be threatening Hurricane into this Glamora, unfortunately.
But also, does the Azumarill one-hit knock out the Great Tusk with Aqua Jet, even though it's at neutral? This time it's not burned, and it's in Rain and Life Orb and huge power.
Yeah, so I mean, it could potentially, right? I mean, the only...
No, you're not going to risk it.
Yeah, we're not going to risk it here, right? I mean, he's... And I think this Glamora is actually faster than both of these Pokemon, as we've seen the speed tiers play out throughout this set. Right, so he actually does get this sand in. Pelipper does protect.
No wide guard.
Very good.
No wide guard. Let's see what happens here. Aqua Jet was going into that slot. Over half damage to that Tyranitar. That is not a safe slot to be in. Bit more Life Orb damage, and Power Gem went to Pelipper.
Oh, that's quite unfortunate here, but a good call by Gavin there. Grant not quite getting the read, but you know, he's still you know, the Tyranitar did take a lot of damage, but he's still in a decent spot, mainly because he can just Sludge Bomb, he can just Power Gem into the Pelipper again, right?
But then again, the Pelipper can switch to get the weather advantage again, but...
Yeah, for sure, and it all depends on what this Tyranitar goes for, right? Does it go for the Rock Slide, or does it go for the Protect, or switches out, right?
You have to be scared of the Azumarill. I think that's like the problem right now for Grant, because if you protect the Tyranitar, you could get hit with a Play Rough, but if you don't protect, you're susceptible to Rock Slides. More so like, what does Gavin do?
And it's actually crucial that this Glamora is faster than the Azumarill, right? He's kind of actually putting on a lot of pressure for that Sludge Bomb. So maybe him actually just... Oh my god, wait. You just click Earth Power there?
You click Power Gem, and it's, yeah, it is Power we're switching out. Is it Goldengo again, or is it something different? It is Iron Hands.
Okay, so let's see what it goes into here. I mean,
Aqua Jet, yeah,
Aqua Jet into Tyranitar, yeah, that makes sense a lot, right? He's kind of just conceding that right here. He can't really do much. Maybe a Protect, but we would have to see.
Yeah, it's like KO on the Azumarill.
So he did actually,
Earth Power.
He did go for the Earth Power, and that does a huge chunk to Iron Hands and the crit. Oh my god. So I mean, again, this Glamora is putting on so much pressure onto these two Pokemon here.
Except now it's down to Great Tusk and Glamora against Gavin's full team, and now he has weather advantage.
Yeah, and he does have weather advantage here, which is
maybe
rough.
maybe we get the fight out of Aqua Jet was a one-hit knockout that Great Tusk with Rain.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah, no, we definitely have to figure that out now, because I mean, the Glamora could definitely just like outspeed. Actually, no, maybe not, because I mean, we do have fake out pressure from this Iron Hand, so Glamora might not actually be able to attack this turn, right? If he's scared that it's gonna get faked out, but or or maybe the Great Tusk. The Great Tusk is very fast here, right? It could get flinches, or it could actually lock into anything here now, because it just switched in. So I mean, Grant's putting on a lot of pressure here. So I mean, he might either need to go defensive, or he just has to call the fake out, right?
No, I really think Iron Hands is switching up the Pelipper. I really think so. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. So I mean, Iron Hand's under a lot of pressure here and going into Pelipper. And I believe Grant actually did click Rock Slide here, so this might actually be a very good.
Let's get to find out. This is a one-hit knockout. It is not.
It is not. Great Tusk with his great defenses hangs on here. He headlong rushes into the Azumarill. That is huge because now, this Glimmora can, freely click a few buttons and depending on what it went for here. Oh, it goes for the Sludge Bomb. Does it KO? Oh my god, now Grant's in such a good position now because not only can his...
Nah, I had to disagree. I'm sorry to put a rebuttal here. Fake out into the Great Tusk plus the Goldango with the Choice Scarf, I think this is still Gavin's favoritism.
But yeah, I mean, believe it or not, actually, yeah, I mean, it is, but I mean, you would have to get the call right here, right? Because I mean, whether the fake out goes into Glimmora or the Great Tusk, because the Great Tusk with the Scarf does actually outspeed the Goldango. So we'd have to see who he decides to fake out into here.
Or if fake out even gets the KO from that range without -1 defense.
Yeah, I mean, that also depends too, right? I mean, fake out's very low base power move. But yeah, the Great Tusk, while the Great Tusk is a little low, we would have to see here, right?
Fake out into the Great Tusk is not enough for a knockout. Great Tusk is not going to move. Make it rain probably coming up from this Goldango. Will this knock out the Glimmora?
Yeah, and this is highly anticipated here. It does lock out the Glimmora. Terra Steel, make it rain.
Gavin Michaels, back-to-back June Challenge champion.
Yep. No, Grant put up a really good fight. I mean, he positioned his Pokemon really well, but Scarf Goldango turned out to be a little too much. So a very good play from both players, for sure.
I knew the 2 turns that were happening. I knew they were happening. And it's just like, I don't know, player's perspective. If that's the thing.
Yeah, no, for sure, right.
Crazy to see how much success Azumarill is having lately. Gavin started it, I think, and now it's spreading from Hartford.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those Pokemon that again, like I like to say, right, where you have these Pokemon that they're not as strong as Palafin, right, but they don't have to have the same activation requirement as Palafin in order to transform into that hero mode and get all those stats, right? Azumarill could just do it right off the bat, which is actually very strong. So I mean,
the only difference really is power.
Yeah, only difference is power, right? I mean, but again, right? I mean, you see that Azumarill just with liquidation is doing so much anyway, right? So I mean, it's a very powerful Pokemon in its own right, and definitely has its merits over Palafin as well with that fairy coverage, dragon immunity, stuff like that.
Yeah, but with that being said, that's gonna do it for this gym challenge number 11. We are not gonna be back here in 2 weeks. We're gonna actually be back in 3 weeks, if I got that correct.
Yeah, because Fresno is happening on the weekend.
That would have been
our
Gym Challenge 12.
Yeah, would have been Gym Challenge 12, right? But for the 17th and the 18th, we're gonna have. Oh, actually, that weekend at least, the weekend of the 17th of June, we will actually have a double header. So I mean, if any of you guys from the SoCal area, you should definitely come and check that out. It's gonna and come on down, NorCal. Yeah, no, I mean, from everywhere in California, right? I mean, if you're able to drive, you should definitely come out here. Double header, gonna be an absolute banger.
Just call it the Fresno Hangover.
Fresno Hangover, yeah, you can call that too. But I mean, again, double header. I mean, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
That'll do it for us in Gym Challenge 11. Gavin Michaels defends his title. He wins again, and Azumarill remains king. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.